even those of us who have quite a close relationship with God, I think we're going into another level. These gods of old are coming back, and I have been watching and seeing that we had the spirit of anarchy has been around for quite a while here. Satan is coming in his full force now, and I think it is the spiritual and the physical are becoming intertwined. We as Christians need to be more aware of what is happening, and we need to step up in our spiritual walk with God, and to make sure that we purify ourselves and to prepare ourselves and to make sure that we keep ourselves away from things, because we are the light. The Holy Spirit burns within us, and the glory of God is within us. And it needs to be so strong that people see it, or even if they don't see it, they will feel it. But if these physical and the spiritual become more intertwined, they are going to become more aware of it. So you as a Christian, you need to be burning brighter, and so that you will be able to help people, and they will come to you for help. And even your presence will just lighten the place and burn away the darkness around and make it more clear for people of what's going on. And you need to be more careful in what you're doing and what you're saying. And it's just really difficult, because I find the more aware you are of all this darkness around you, sometimes it can be a bit depressive. But we need to just praise God and worship Him like Daniel did, because it's the only thing you can do is to lift God higher. And the higher you lift Him, the more you will burn brighter. You will be able to affect these things. Just remember that what is coming, God is in control of everything. And because these things in the heavenly realms are happening, the stars, the signs of the stars and the moons and things like that, God created it in the beginning, and He programmed for everything to happen at a certain time. And because He knows what's coming. And we see even with the war in Israel how God is protecting His own people. And who God has blessed, no one can curse. If you try and curse something that God has blessed, you're cursing yourself. So even people that don't like the Jews and what's happening in Israel, be very careful in what you're saying about them. Because if you say anything that God does not like, you're actually putting a curse on yourself. If you don't believe in God, then it's between you and yourself. But if you're a Christian and you believe in God, be very careful in how you treat the Jews. They are the apple of God's eye. Make sure that you get to know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And the truth will make you realize that God is in control. We can't control it. The only thing we can do is what God tells us, is to love everybody, to support them. God says, love your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. Do not love anything else more than Him. If you love anything else more than Him, then you're not one of His children, and you're not on the right path. He cannot protect you from what's coming and what's happening in your life as well, because Satan will be attacking everybody very ferociously at the moment. So we need to make sure that we love Him more than anything else. And when you love Him more than anything else, you will believe His word, because God wrote this word through people. The Bible is His word. There are many books out there that supports the Bible. There's many archaeological findings there that supports the Bible and the truth. And even if you look into the heavenly realms, you'll see the truth. The Bible is true. That what's happening, it's all done by God. And even the scientists are starting to realize it must be an intelligent being that created the earth. And whatever it is, there's a mind behind everything. Things don't just happen randomly. And God has set everything in motion that time back. We're not sure exactly when, because they say it's millions and billions of years. But as somebody said the other day, when He created Adam, He created him as a grown man. He did not create him as a baby. He was not in anybody's womb, and he wasn't born. He had to be raised. He was created as a man. The earth as well was created as what it should have been. So if it sometimes seems like it's millions and billions of years old, it's just because it seems like that. It's like Adam was a grown man. The earth was a grown earth, if you can put it that way. It wasn't a baby earth, because when man was created, the foliage and everything out there was already grown. It was already ready. The animals were all grown, and they were having children and babies and all those kind of things. They were carrying on having their own. Their own was being reproduced by themselves. There wasn't just a few of them. I believe when Adam and Eve was put on the earth, that there was quite a lot. I mean, the fruit was in the trees. There was things growing already. So the earth had been there for quite a long time, it seems, before Adam was put on it. But according to the Bible, it was all done in a very short period of time. But God can make something, and he can make it old, and he can make it mature in an instant. So we cannot work out from exactly the timeline and the creation and what we see around us, how things have happened. We cannot fathom that out because we cannot understand God. God is not a human being. He is not in a physical body. I think in Ezekiel sort of sees God. And, if you look at the explanation of what he is, he says, above the expanse over the heads was what looked like a throne of sapphire, and high above the throne was a figure like that of a man. I saw that from what appeared to be his waist up, he looked like glowing metal, as in full of fire, and that from there down he looked like fire, and brilliant light surrounded him, like the appearance of a rainbow in the clouds on a rainy day. So was a radiance around him. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. That's not a human being. This is in Ezekiel 1:26. And there's quite a few places where he gets described, God's described, but God cannot show his full glory as he told Moses because it would kill us. And Ezekiel couldn't even see it, but he says it was so brilliant. And it also talks in Revelation that when Jesus comes into the new Jerusalem, the new temple that's built there, that his light will light everything up. And it's made out of 12 stones. Well, they're all basically translucent. Only if we put pure light through them can we see it. And this only happened not so long ago, where the scientists realized that they could actually shine this light through, and it changes it in all to different lights, the lights of the rainbow. And so when Jesus walks into the new Jerusalem and the new temple that's built there, well, it was not really just Jerusalem, his light is so bright, and all these stones will light up like the radiance of a rainbow around him. It's just incredible. Like, this is written so many years ago. And then in Revelation, it talks about it as well, but this is still coming. That God is so bright that us as humans, we cannot face him. It will destroy us. And his radiance and the power that comes from him is so powerful that Moses could only see him as God walked past him. And the glory that was fading from God. That's all he could see, because it would have killed him if he's seen God in his full glory. Yeah, so God is not a man. Don't think you can understand him or even outthink him or outdo him. I mean, he created Satan, and in Ezekiel 28 it describes Satan. I didn't write that down. But he said that he was beautiful and powerful. And Satan has risen up as the evil against God. But God knew it was going to happen, so he prepared everything in advance. And we are at the end of the time now. And when we die, we are not going to dissipate and disappear. As a Christian, you'll go and live with God. As a non-Christian, you'll end up in a place which is not going to be very nice. It says, it's darkness and it'll be evil, and you'll be surrounded by pure evil all the time. That's one of the worst places you can be, and that is basically death, to be in a place that is so evil. And that is what death actually means, is to be separated from God, because God is the light and his life. So if you're going to be separated from God, you are dead. You have no reason to want to be existing, but as a spiritual being, you cannot be killed. God is the only one that can do it. And we don't know what he's planned for our future even then. Because I don't believe it's the end of anything. I think it's also maybe a new beginning of other things. So God says that those that will go with him to live in his realm, his children, he's made us his children, that he's got plans for us. He's got plans prepared for us. And he also says in the Bible that we will rule and take over the rule of those fallen angels. So God had to get rid of the evil before he could start planning the things that he really wants to do. And we have no idea what it is. I just believe it's so much more than we can even imagine. I mean, what's happening in the heavenly realms, and that God has planned it thousands of years in advance. It's all coming to a point now. Everything, as Stephen Meyer always says, is so finely tuned that it can only be a God. It can only be a mind behind it. Those that are closer to God will become more one. And I do find that a lot of Christians do think the same way I do, but the evil ones will become one as well. And it's a time for Satan to take over and to rule, and for his end to come, because he's going to give the power and he's going to try and destroy what God has created. But God won't allow him to do that. He will just give him the freedom so he can basically destroy himself. But it needs to happen. And we are right at the beginning of the tribulation, and I believe that the rapture will happen very soon as well. But very soon in God's time is not our time. So prepare yourself for the rapture, for any day, but also prepare yourself to step out and be God's light. So either way, you need to prepare yourself. And God's told me I need to do that. And there is still things in my life that I know need changing. And so I need to work on that. We all have something, because when you know God and he lights up your life and you can see basically the sin in your life, because what's not from God is sin. And if there's anything in your life, you need to just sort it out and deal with it. It might be something very small and insignificant, but that can always grow into bad things. So whatever it is, just start sorting your life out. And we've got to be careful what is from Satan and what is from God. And I've had quite a lot of vivid dreams in my life. And when they're that real to me that I've actually been there and I can see it and I can remember it as clearly as when I dreamt it, then I know it's going to come true. Because you have many dreams in your life that is just your brain trying to sort things out, or trying to, say it's like a defrag of your computer, which is your brain. It's trying to sort itself out and just correct things that, that needs doing. And that's why our human brains need time to rest and to basically reset ourselves, or just to figure things out. I had a dream very recently, about 2 weeks ago. There's a lot of things that it could actually mean, some really good stuff in there. And people always say, but a dream is a dream and you're going to remember some of them. But I forgot the dream. And normally I know if I remember a dream that clearly, because I did. I remembered it for a whole week, and then all of a sudden I forgot it. And I said to God, well, if I do need to remember it, please bring it back. And in an instant, that dream came back as clear as when I was in the dream. It just highlighted some of the things, and I need to pray into that. And that's what I need to focus on in my life as well. So if you're going to have dreams that are really vivid, pray into it and wait for God to reveal it and open up. Because many years ago, I had a dream that we were going to go back to South Africa, and that our landlord would pass away. And our landlord was not that old. I started having it not long after we moved in, and we stayed there for about 10 years, I think. So I think about 7 years before. So that's God's timing, and I just knew in that dream that it was going to happen. Be aware of your dreams, and be aware that God's coming soon. If not, if you're going to go into the tribulation, we need to be prepared for it. So prepare yourself now. Get yourself ready spiritually and mentally for it. Amen.